Prana, Yama, Prana, the breath, the life force, the energy. Yama, to control, and Ayama means to hold back or to extend. So pranayama is a way to extend your life energy by learning to controlling the breath and to holding back the breath. Hello friends, welcome back to Atmaflow. Pranayama, or nowadays we call it breathwork, has unlimited benefits. It increases your energy levels, you will be more happy, more calm. It improves your memory, your concentration. You can control and regulate your nervous system, your endocrine system, your cardiovascular system. You will be in control of your mind, of your digestion, your immune system, your vitality. It can help you with any kind of addiction. It will make you more peaceful, more shining, more energized, and you will be more kind, more loving towards other living beings, not only to humans, also to animals. But pranayama is not only giving you all these various benefits. Pranayama also increases the duration of your life. From Ayurveda we learned that each entity has a certain amount of breaths, and then life will be finished. So by extending the breath, by breathing less than you normally, you can extend your lifespan. For example, we know in the animal species of life, animals who breathe faster have a shorter lifespan than animals. In the same way, we are also animals, and if we learn to reduce the breathing from normally 10 to 16 breaths a minute, we can reduce it to 1 breath, 4 breaths, 5 breaths a minute. For example, take a breath in for 4 seconds into the belly, up to the top parts of your lungs. Exhale for 6 seconds. If you continue for 1 minute, you will only take 6 breaths in a minute. This is around half the amount what you usually breathe. Immediately you will get so many benefits because your whole system slows down. Your mind will be more clear. You will access more energy, more prana in your life. Nowadays we give so much importance to diets, being vegan, being vegetarian, fasting from sugar, or being on a low carb diet or ketosis. But how many days you can survive without food? 30, maybe 40 days? How many days you can survive without water? 3 days? How many days you can survive without air? Maybe not even 1 day, maybe not even 1 minute, maybe 2 or 3 or 10 minutes. So the importance should be given to the breath, to prana, to life itself. Like for example, you take an apple, you eat this apple. What you actually ate was prana, was life force, an energy field. Or you drink water, it's prana. If you breathe air, it's prana. You can get prana from the sun, from the water, from the earth, just from breathing air. We get the most prana intake. And the breath and the mind, they both are connected. When you're agitated, when you feel stress, how do you breathe? Immediately we breathe into the chest. Shallow breathing. 90% of the population is all the time stressed. So how are we gonna breathe? We breathe shallow into the chest. And many various diseases, emotional blockages coming from wrong breathing pattern. Instead of breathing into the belly, diaphragm, top parts of your lungs, we just always use the lungs without getting the full amount of prana into the belly and the diaphragm. And then we get all kinds of mental and physical diseases. So by controlling the breath, you can control and master the mind. The mind can be your worst enemy, but the mind can be your best friend. In the Vedic scriptures we learn, for example in the Srimad Bhagavatam we learn, there's only 2 ways to control the mind. One is bhakti, devotion to God, devotional service, or the Ashtanga yoga process, what we learn from Patanjali, or from Lord Kapiladev in the Srimad Bhagavatam and in the Yoga Sutras. And the Ashtanga Yoga process especially recommends pranayama to control the mind, because the goal of pranayama leads us to pratyahara, what means to withdraw the senses of the objects of the senses. And only then you can gradually progress to deeper form of meditation, ends in samadhi. And in the Ashtanga Yoga process, what means Ashta, 8, Anga means limbs, so the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. So the first limbs are Yama and Niyama, the rules and regulations, the do's and the don'ts. For example, Ahimsa, non-violence, Asteya, you shouldn't steal, would be some don'ts. And the do's, to read the scriptures, to practice celibacy, or Ishvara Pranidhan, worship and surrender to God. This is the basics to start yoga. Nowadays we think yoga means asanas, to hold a position for a certain amount of time. But this right now, this is an asana. To hold this asana for many hours, this would be the perfection of the asana. Then the fourth stage is pranayama, to control the life force, to learn to control the mind. And then pratyahara, to withdraw the senses of the external world and to go deeply within. And then we have dharana, concentration, dhyana, meditation, and then we end in samadhi. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, Uddhava asks Krishna lots of questions, and one of these questions is, who is the strongest in this world? And Krishna tells him, the one who practices pranayama, because he can control his mind. And the mind is described, it is more difficult to capture the mind than to control the wind. Did you ever try to capture the wind? So this is the difficulty to control the mind. But by practice and by detachment, by renunciation, it is possible to control the unsteady mind. So by daily practice of pranayama, you can master your mind. Money back guarantee. Sometimes people ask, is pranayama dangerous? It can be dangerous if you only practice energizing pranayama, tapping into your sympathetic nervous system, hyperventilating, doing too long breath holds to damage your brain, to faint, to get dizzy. But to practice an hour, 2 hours a day, in the morning, in the evening, pranayama, there's no harm. But you have to find the balance between the slow breathing techniques and the more energizing breathing techniques. And to always end with a meditation. You can balance all the 3 doshas, Vata, Kapha, Pitta. For some people, pranayama will enliven them, give them more energy. For some, it is more calming. But always try to combine all various aspects of pranayama so that you can get the ultimate result, what means peace of mind and a healthy energy system. And with pranayama, you engage with life, you engage with the world, in and exhalation, with the light and with the dark, with the sun and with the moon, with the female, feminine, and with the male, masculine. The same way, when we inhale fresh oxygen, then we exhale carbon dioxide, the trees, the nature absorbs the carbon dioxide and gives us back fresh oxygen. And then again, we're in harmony with nature, in harmony with the world, in harmony with the universe. This all may sound very esoteric, but breathing is the most natural thing, and it's scientific. There's so much knowledge out there. What happens during breath hold? What happens when we in and exhale? For example, when we're gonna do strong breathing exercises, where we hyperventilate, we inhale more than we need. So the carbon dioxide in our body decreases. The blood becomes more alkaline, and the blood will release more fresh oxygen into the cells. So we get more energized. But it's a mistake to think you can breathe in more oxygen. What really is happening is the decrease or the increase of carbon dioxide. The oxygen saturation is almost the same. Then we hypoventilate, we inhale less than we exhale. When we do fast breathing, we inhale more than we exhale, and with slow breathing, we exhale more than we inhale. So we're tapping into the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. This is the key. Find the balance between the center, to open up the sleeping snake Kundalini, to access the prana from the root all the way up Sushumna Nadi, your main energy channel along your spine, and open up the energy in your crown and connect them both. Find yourself in the center of life. When you practice pranayama, start with a few energizing breathing techniques to open up the energy system, to open up the nervous system, to access more oxygen and prana. But then always end with meditation or with slow, deep breathing techniques. Pranayama is not just okay? Pranayama means to hold back the breath. The Bhagavad Gita describes to offer the inhalation into the exhalation and to offer the exhalation into the inhalation. To reverse the breathing so that you come to a point where you almost don't breathe anymore. And then you find the peace. Then the mind comes down. This is pranayama. All the techniques are not so important. The goal should be to leave the external consciousness and to go deeply within yourself, into deeper layers of your being. This is the goal of pranayama. This should be the goal of your practice. Not to be healthy, not to be energized or feel good. This is side effects. But the main point is to connect deeply within yourself. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and check out my YouTube channel. There's already many various pranayama techniques with a more detailed explanation, with a guided session or some breathwork routines or recorded live streams. And just practice every day. Sit down for 1 minute at least and take a few deep conscious breaths. And if you have more time, you just do a video with me. Take your 10-20 minutes and experiment what the breath can do in your life. Pranayama will change everything. Maybe you think your karma, your destiny is already written. But by practicing pranayama, you burn your unwanted desires. You burn your habits, your addictions. You center yourself and open yourself for a new world, for a new life. Namaste.